Welcome everyone, treasure hunters, thrill seekers. Today we're going to talk about a quarter that lies really smack dab in the middle of a decade in which the movies have brought us Back to the Future. A very iconic movie, as you guys know, one of the sequels in there. Um, yes, there was a lot of old money being shown in there. But 1985 is a landmark date during the 80s. And I don't really talk about 1980s quarters that often, but after doing some exhaustive research, I can honestly say maybe I should start paying more attention to a lot of the coins during the 80s. It has a lot to offer. There's some pretty actually valuable coins that can be discovered in this particular decade. So 1985 quarter, if you got them, what do you have? Did you find something that's in really nice shape, nice condition, that might be grade worthy? We're going to talk about that in this video, along with all the other basic information, like how many of them were made. Of course, you know, we were talking about a decade of overproduction, of course. So that's going to play a role in the actual value of some of these coins at the highest grade level. Believe it or not, do not sleep on this coin. It's a really underrated date for sure, and finding one in really good condition can be quite a chore. So, in addition, we're going to explore any sort of major varieties or errors that may exist for the 1985 Washington quarter. You're going to need to know that too, because if you can't find the high grade stuff, well, how about a nice error or variety? Do they exist, and where do you find them? Okay, that's going to be talked about in this video. So, as always, I'm going to go ahead and do my YouTube thing. Feel free to like the video. That'd be awesome. And in addition, you can share the video. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Your support, your extra support, will go a long way during these trying times. And I'd say we are about ready here. So let's go ahead, treasure hunters, and see what the 1985 Washington quarter is all about. As you guys know, I like to talk about the coins that you could find in circulation. They call these business strikes. So these were coins intended to be produced and made strictly for circulation. All right, there are proof coins as well. Generally, those are minted at the San Francisco facility. We're not going to talk about those because those were sold as a collector item directly from the mint. All right, so those wouldn't play any sort of role here. So we have two different minted coins that we're going to talk about in this video. The Philadelphia minted 1985 and the Denver version as well. Now, each coin will have its own respective mint mark. As you can see on screen, the 1985 Philadelphia will have a P mint mark right behind this bow right here on Washington's little hairtail deal. And that's how you know that you have a Philadelphia minted coin. Conversely, a Denver minted coin will have a letter D in the same exact spot. So what can I tell you about this coin that probably you may not know? All right, well, the mintage is 1. It's a very specific figure. But for the Philadelphia coin, 775,818,962 1985 P Washington quarters were produced during that time. So obviously there's no shortage, all right? There's quite a few of these that were made, and the same can be said about the Denver. We're going to get into that here momentarily. The overall composition makeup of this particular coin is 75% copper with a 25% nickel clad. All right, so it's you have the copper core in these with the outside being nickel, and that's why it has that kind of silvery look to it. So that's the composition of the coin. Now, a lot of people are going to ask, how much are the coins as you find them out of change? Well, again, these were overproduced. If you found one that is in circulating condition, well, congratulations. You have a coin that is worth a quarter. But where it really matters is high grades. So if you find one that looks like it's been minted yesterday, that could be a big deal. But where exactly do we need to fall as far as grade level before it matters? Okay, that's the big question that everybody's going to ask. So we're going to use PCGS, okay? They are one of the premier graders out there, okay? The same can be said with NGC and Annex. Those are the top three. But when it comes to what they call top pop or top population coins, which are the finest graded, PCGS just seems to matter more to a lot of collectors, okay? And that's why people pay more money for PCGS graded coins, because the grades are, in hindsight, a little bit tougher to achieve at the highest levels. So for the 1985 Philadelphia, the highest grade assigned by PCGS is Mint State 67. That is a pretty high number. Perfect grade, of course, is 70, so it's not too far off. Now, PCGS has assigned 10 coins total out of the 775 million at a Mint State 67. So it is kind of difficult. There are no coins finer, of course. There's no 67 plus or 68s that exist. Will that happen one day? You never know. But you gotta believe that if you have the only known graded higher grade than a 67, like a 67 plus, that's going to be a very expensive coin. Now, as far as the highest recorded sale of a Mint State 67 by PCGS, Goldberg Auctions, not to be mistaken by the wrestler that does the spear and the jackhammer and all that stuff. But back June 5th of 2017, an example in Mint State 67 by PCGS sold for $1,528. That's a good amount of money. Now, it takes a lot for one of these quarters to achieve that grade level. Just thinking back to 1985 or any date during the 80s for that matter, quality was a little bit of a concern. Okay, you got a lot of coins that either had light luster or it had a lot of nicks and scratches and bag marks, you know, things that you would normally associate with coins being produced at not only a rapid rate, but at a very voluminous rate. Okay, can you imagine a million of these coins being produced every day? It all adds up, and you have all the coins kind of clanging and banging against each other. Then finding one that is a high grade can be of a challenge. So that's the 1985 Philadelphia coin. Let's go ahead and look at the Denver Mint coin. Now, in this case, the images were provided by PCGS as a true view, so all the credit goes to them for these images. They are spectacular. They know how to take a picture. But like I had referenced before, this one is a Denver, so it has a little letter D behind the bow in much the same place as the Philadelphia coin. Now, this one right here tends to show up in a lot better quality than the Philadelphia Mint. Call it just better quality control or what have you. But the Denver minted coins at the highest grades look a lot better. Okay, they have more luster, they have a sharper strike. Presentably, they just look better. Now, as far as mintage, okay, quite a few of these were made, not quite as many as Philadelphia, unfortunately, but 519,962,888 total pieces were produced by the Denver Mint. All right, making it not rare in any condition. Again, it's only worth 25 cents to a lot of people. Circulated, okay, so keep that in mind as you're going through these quarters. There's a certain grade level expectation that you have to kind of find and adopt in order to find some of the valuable ones. Now, as far as grades, this particular date and mint mark is funny because, as you can see, we have a different slab, or graded slab here, and this is an NGC slab. Guess what? There have been no recorded sales of this coin by PCGS from Mint State 66 plus all the way up to the highest grade, which, by the way, is a 67 plus. Okay, we're again talking about high quality here. So PCGS has assigned 2 coins at the highest grade level, and that's Mint State 67 plus. All right, so that's a pretty nice high grade. The coins look fantastic at that level, of course, with very little that's going to hold it back. So you want to find a coin that is about as almost perfect as possible. The things that are going to matter most is contact marks. The less of them, the better. Now at 67 plus, there's going to be a few contact marks, I'm not going to lie. So, you know, you can leave yourself a little bit of leeway, but they have to be tiny, all right? Oftentimes, you're going to have to look under a magnifier to be able to find some of these small, tiny contact marks. So the coin has the same composition and everything. So let's talk about value at a Mint State 67 Plus. Keeping in mind, there have been no sales of a 66 Plus, the 67, and the 67 Plus. So PCGS has a price guide value of $5,000 for a 67 Plus. No known sales. So whoever finds one of these Denvers, I guarantee you, if you sent one out to PCGS and a graded 67 Plus, consider yourself very lucky. And when you go to sell it, you can pretty much put any price tag you want to, of course within reason. We can't put $1 million, but you never know, I guess. But it's going to be a very rare and valuable coin to registry set collectors. Okay, people that collect the highest possible grade of every date and every coin possible. So that's where you're going to have a lot of your value. All right, it's the 1985D. So I'm sorry to say, the 1980s are really lacking in the die variety department. Now, it's not to say that one cannot be discovered, whether it's a repunch mint mark or a doubled die or some sort of funny transitional type coin. There are no known major die varieties for the 1985 Washington quarter, although it is ripe for a new discovery. Okay, you want to know how I know? Well, there are none that exist. So, there could be one out there. Again, look at every coin using a good magnifier. I do have them for sale down below in the description box. And they're affordable too. But having a good magnifier is going to be paramount in identifying some of these die varieties. Okay, and there are none for 1985, so take advantage of that while you can. Now, I'm happy to say I have found a number of varieties, or actually errors, for the 1985 Washington quarter. Now, they're all Philadelphia minted coins, okay, where you never know where you're going to come across one of these. It's always good to have a reference photo of a specific type of error in the event you come across it in circulation, right? So, I would say a few of these coins are obtainable just by searching through rolls, going through pocket change. Okay, they pop up when you least expect it. Now, there's going to be more than half of the list that are not at all attainable looking just through change. But I'm going to tell you exactly where these are being cherry-picked at, if and only if you're able to find the resource. So the first coin that we have here is a 1985P. This is a coin that is lacking the nickel clad layer on the obverse. Okay, so it's got that copper core showing through. The coin is a little bit thinner by all accounts because it is missing the top layer of nickel. This one weighs at 4.68 grams, which is nearly a whole gram less than its standard quarter. So it is thinner. This one right here, graded Ngc Mint State 63 red brown. Of course, this is probably a coin that you don't have to get graded. You could sell it as long as you have found one. And it sold for $59 December of 2012. All of the coins have sold on Heritage Auctions, by the way. So that's where I got all the information about previous realized sales of these 1985 errors. That's a pretty neat coin right there. Keep an eye out for it. All right, so the next one that we have here is a 1985P Washington quarter that exhibits a 23% clipped planchet. Okay, this one is pretty crazy. Very seldom do you find these with this size of clip, but I have come across personally others with smaller clips on there, maybe like a 5 or 10% clipped planchet. This is a PCGS AU58 example, and it's circulated because it's about uncirculated. So it's seen a little bit of, abuse out there in commerce, although not a lot. But, to some people, this looks like a damaged coin, but it really isn't. So this one right here sold for $69 August of 2005. Now, that was a good minute, 15 years ago. I would imagine that a coin like this would probably sell for about double that. All right, and again, you don't necessarily have to grade it in order to make the money off of it. All right, it speaks for itself. All right, so this one's cool. This is probably not one that you'll normally find going through coin rolls or, searching through a piggy bank. But it's a 1985 Philadelphia Washington quarter that is double struck with the secondary strike 75% off center from the regular strike. This one is a PCGS Mint State 64, a really nice, incredible coin. This one sold for $123.38. May of 2013. All right, so that's what that one looks like. Again, stay tuned to the end of the video. I'll give you an idea of where these off-center struck ridiculous coins are being found. Excuse me. All right, what we have here is a 1985 Philadelphia Washington quarter that was struck on a nickel planchet. Okay, so this is another coin that pops up on occasion going through bankrolls. I've never personally found one, but the forum chat pages where I go on all the time, there's been a few people that have found these, okay, and they're really neat. Since it's being struck on a smaller planchet, of course you're going to get some loss of some of those devices. Like if you see on the reverse of this coin, United States of America has been cut literally in half. Probably more States of America than United. But this is what this coin looks like. Now it's an Ngc Mint State 62 example. And this one sold for $188, April 28th of 2013. Pretty cool. This is again one of those coins that may pop up and change. You just never know. All right, so here's another impossible error to find and change because it won't fit in a regular standard paper roll, that's for sure. It's a 1985 P, so again, it's another Philadelphia coin. This one is double struck. The second strike is 60% off center. This one is simply incredible. Okay, when you have this double strike and you're able to see, you know, a good deal of devices of both strikes on the same coin, I would say this is a runaway hit right here. Now, this one right here grades Ngc Mint State 62, and this one sold for $258.50 January of 2016 on Heritage Auctions. Pretty neat coin. I would say it's an investor piece, one in which that will probably just go up in value. Okay, double struck coins in general, when they look like this, are just, they're sought after in the community. All right, another impossible error to find and change. Okay, so don't kid yourself, but always keep an eye out for something like this at like a coin shop. You know, maybe they're asking not quite nearly as much money for it as what it deserves. But it's a 1985 quarter. This one is triple struck. Now, from what you can see, you could probably only see a double strike, but I'm going to tell you where the third strike is here in a moment. This one here is an Ngc Mint State 65, and if you look right here on this particular strike, the second strike, you're going to see the third one. Okay, yeah, it's just a rim, but there's a third strike there, and that's what that looks like. Pretty crazy. But every single strike is off center on this one, and it's again a miraculously incredible coin. It even has a dual date. You can see two 1985s on the same quarter. How cool is that? Now this one sold for $763.75 way back June 2014. Simply an incredible error. And then finally, we're going to have a pair of coins, okay? It's very rare that you're able to find what they call a mated pair. So these error coins, you know, will get struck and, you know, it's made an error at some point in its life. Generally, it's going to involve a couple coins. All right, now being able to find one coin and then finding the matching set or the matching second piece of that pair is difficult. Now we're talking like 1 in a million type odds, because once the coins go into a hopper and they mix around, the opportunity for these coins to coexist in the same mint bag can be a little challenging. Now we have two coins here, one graded Mint State 65, the other with the double actual obvious strikes, graded Mint State 64, both by Pcgs. An incredible doubling. Now, this coin right here was struck with this right here, okay, and then you see a little indent where one coin was actually overlapping the other when that off-center strike was being made on not only this coin, but the double strike on this is here. So that's the connectivity, I guess, for both coins. It's easier to see on the reverse where that indent is of where the other coin was overlapping to right here. This is incredible. Now, some would say, well, this has got to be like a $10,000 pair. Well, not so, because it is a later date, all right, and it's clad. If you were to find something like this maybe during the 60s, like a 60s quarter, not necessarily a silver, the date plays a huge role in the value. But this one right here, as a pair, sold for $1,725, April 17th of 2008. Wow, a breathtaking set. Now, you heard me allude to mint sewn bags, okay? And then usually a mated pair like this would be found in such a thing. So this is what a mint sewn bag looks like, okay? Generally, these are going to come directly from either the U.S. Mint, or they are packaged up at the Federal Reserve Bank and then sent out to either directly to the bank, or they're sent out to a armored car company like a Loomis, or Wells Fargo or something like that for repackaging. Okay, but normally these incredible off-center struck, double struck coins, I guess die caps and various other coins where they won't fit in a standard paper roll, they're being found in these mint sewn bags. Okay. And since we're talking the 80s, again, quality wasn't exactly up there, especially coming from the Philadelphia Mint. So they will jam every conceivable weirdo, nutso coin that you could think of in these mint sewn bags just so they can get them out. All right, so this is where you're going to have your best bet. Now, here's the rub. How often do you come across a 1985 mint sewn bag of quarters? Okay, you probably don't. Usually these are either going to be stored in maybe at a coin dealer shop, or perhaps a private party will have a few of these that has been passed down for a number of years. Now keep in mind, the canvas bags, if they're being stored in a pretty bad environment, okay, bugs can eat through these. These things with heat and cold and everything else will begin to tear after a while. So keeping the actual canvas bags in really good shape is a challenge. And oftentimes when they do tear apart, the coins get cashed in. All right. And, it's incredible. Now, the bags themselves are not cheap. Even mint sewn bags from the 80s, I guarantee you, you're going to be paying anywhere from about 2.5 to maybe 5 times face. Okay. Especially when it comes to specific kind of key dates, like a 1983 Philadelphia quarter bag would probably be close to $10,000, because it's just tough to find Mint State 1983 Philadelphia and Denver minted coins, because there was no mint set provided by the U.S. Mint at the time. So finding them in high grades, again, tough. But that's your key to finding some of these major errors. Okay, it's not easy. But the coin bag that you see here is from I believe it's a 2000 South Carolina State Quarters. It's a Denver Mint bag. I actually pulled it off eBay. But that's what that looks like. And it's generally $1,000 face. So not cheap at all. So anyways, that's going to do it for the 1985 Washington Quarter. There's a lot to absorb here, folks. 23 minutes worth of, great stuff, or maybe junk to you. I don't know. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all of the support and views. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for instant notification. And I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Coinaholics, we are discovering together. Have fun with the hobby. And I'll see you on the next coin video. You guys take care.